So I was going to talk a little bit about this last retreat. And one of the great outcomes of being in silence and in retreat is we're really able to merge with the practice that we're doing and spend time with our mind without all of the various identities that we carry. And that's very helpful, I found. So we all have certain roles that we play for others and to a certain extent ourselves. And when in retreat and looking inside, it gives us a chance for these identities to recede, give space for more deep layers of the consciousness to start arising and to be identified, which is very helpful. So we're really able to experience a more subtle state of mind. When we are out of retreat, we relate to others within a role, often feeling in charge of something, responsible. And this last retreat, we went in retreat, came out, went in, came out. And so I really got a chance to look at kind of how that affected my mind. So when we came out of retreat and had tasks to do and assume one of our roles, I saw that it felt quite heavy. And I think that's because when in retreat and meditating a lot, then we drop those identities and there's more space in the mind. And so then when picking up that identity or that role again, then it feels heavy, and it feels heavy because I'm grasping at it. I see it as inherently existent, permanent, not changing, and grasping. So I was able to kind of get a pretty good view of the difference between in retreat, dropping identities, out of retreat, carrying these identities. And so we can contemplate the roles by contemplating the emptiness of these roles. And it's a perfect place to pay close attention. And I've been looking at identities a lot lately because how I think of myself has been changing a lot and has gotten a lot of attention because there are many things as I've aged that I can't do that I used to do that made up my identities. And so it's been on my mind quite a lot. So when I have been able to kind of reveal my identities and look at them, I see how much they are infused with attachment, which is exaggerating something. So for example, physically I can't do what I used to be able to do, but in my mind I still have this identity of being a strong woman and I can do things. But yet when I step up to do something, I physically can't do it. And so I'm confronted with, in that moment, the disparity between how I am actually and how I kind of think of myself or grasp at my identity. And so that's been really helpful to look at and to see how there's such a change in how I am because I'm an impermanent phenomena, and as we speak, my identities are crumbling, actually. So it's good to see that. When that first started happening, I met it with some discouragement, some sadness, maybe some anger. Why can't I do what I, want to do? But I saw pretty quickly how that was very misery-making. And it also showed me how when I hold on to these identities with this exaggeration, that I am this and it doesn't change and da-da-da, that when I'm living in that identity, I'm taking responsibility for everything that is part of that identity. And of course, that's where the misery comes in, because then I hold things rigidly and they should be a certain way, etc. And of course, everything arises dependently on many, many causes and conditions. To think that I have sole responsibility for anything is quite silly, not part of reality at all. And so by reminding myself of this a lot, I'm able to notice when I start kind of holding tight to something because that's my role, that's my responsibility. And I've been successful sometimes to step back and to let go a bit, which is much more in alignment with reality. I can be part of something, and I can have a label about something that I am this or that, but I have no control over how things are going to unfold and become something. So it's very helpful to look at it this way. So really my responsibility is to identify when my grasping at identities results in an afflicted mind, and then apply the antidote. So I started to begin to focus on what I would be gaining instead of what I would be losing with the change in identities. And that's been very helpful. So it's kind of like having a mind of abundance instead of a mind of lack or a mind of poverty. And I'm more in reality in alignment with reality, because I try to focus on what I can do each day with a fresh mind, that I can meet myself where I am each day and feel capable at what I am able to do each day. And that's different than being embodied in a role that I have this thing to do and it's my responsibility and I'm going to do it come hell or high water and get out of my way, here I go, that is not a mind that's in alignment with reality. So instead of focusing on what I am losing as I age and making aging a problem, I'm trying to focus on what am I gaining. And so what am I gaining? So without holding on to various identities so strongly, I have more space in my mind for practice. Also, my refuge and renunciation has strengthened because I'm so much clearer about what is important in my life. It is practicing the Dharma. And it's practicing the Dharma both on and off the cushion. So as much as I am able all the time to keep my mind in the Dharma, because I can do that, even though my body really is, it's failing. And if I don't pace myself, my mind doesn't stay as clear as I would like. But if I pace myself, then, my mind's pretty good. So then I can practice Dharma. And so that's what I want to do, because that's the only thing that's going to help me at the time of death, of course. So in terms of who we think we are and grasping tightly at our identities, let's instead meet ourselves exactly where we are, shedding our identities, and with acceptance and compassion, participate from that place. And if we do that, then we'll have more ease, and we will have then the space and room to actually benefit others. So let's work on that one.